this use from Sipadan and Ligitan. Here we will add a problem that occurs between Sipadan and Ligitan. So let's look at the review from some of our here friends, guys. Hello, my name is Indra and I will explain why the case of Sipadan and Ligitan occur. What is the problem? Okay, let's look at the abstract review I have. Okay guys, welcome back, and this is my theory. The liberation of Sipada and Ligitan Island already last on December 16, 2002. The International Court of Justice. Okay, the loss of two islands is an adverse event for Indonesia, particularly in the enforced Indonesia waters. Okay. The second release of event of this island not only result in Indonesia has lost most of its territory, but also have an impact on the emergence of new conflict between Malaysia and Asia, as the duplication claim in the exclusive economic zone of Indonesia in the Sulawesi Sea. The duplication of incline rise of a lot of negative effects, especially for Indonesia, which is sexually under UNCLOS 1982 in the honor of the region. The purpose of this thesis of discusses the juridical implication of the loss of Sipadan and Ligitan to the exclusive economic zone of Indonesia in the Sulawesi Sea, and the effort to be made in Indonesia relate to the duplication claim in the exclusive economic zone in Indonesia in the Sulawesi Sea. This thesis uses normative law research to explain the analysis related to the juridical implication of the loss of Sipadan and Ligitan to the exclusive in the Sulawesi Sea, and the effort to be made in Indonesia relate to the duplication claim in the Sulawesi Sea. This type of research in a normal law, then there are several approaches used there from the law study from the approach to the concept, the material, the presence of the law. The research solves and the juridical implication of the loss of Sipadan and Ligitan to the exclusive economy of Indonesia in the Sulawesi Sea make for the review Indonesia and Malaysia, and the problem of economy, the problem of management, as well as the issue. Okay guys, next I will be reading backward. Okay. The loss of Sipadan and Ligitan Island belonged to Malaysia on December 16, 2002, and later the International Court of Justice. But especially possible of Indonesia approximately territories of the location of two islands can count border zone which must be made in the point of Indonesia as if the release of Sipadan Island and Ligitan Island was a reflection of the government of Indonesia in maintaining the construction of the Indonesia as if it should not be necessary because Indonesia is known as itself in fighting Indonesia as if the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea in 1982, the weakness of Indonesia's ability to protect land from the argument used in the international court during the trial to decide the fate of the island of Sipadan and Ligitan. In an effort to fight for ownership of Sipadan and Ligitan, Indonesia used argument based on the title based on the argument. This argument basically say that both islands belong to Indonesia. Okay, clearly this argument is not strong and legally unclear because it's irregular. The border of the two countries on the Borneo mainland instead. Malaysia used the effective war control over the two islands because so far the country has done many things, such as building facilities and infrastructure. No settlement was found between the two islands. Eventually, the two countries agreed to seek a solution through the International Court of Justice.
A. The juridical implications of the loss of Sipadan and Ligitan Islands to the Exclusive Economic Zone or ZEE in Sulawesi Sea. The disconnections of Sipadan and Ligitan Islands provides juridical implications for carrying juridical consequences on the Exclusive Economic Zone or ZEE of Indonesia in the Sulawesi Sea. Some of the juridical impacts such as the Indonesia and Malaysian border problems, economic problems, government administration problematics, development and management problems, and defense and security issues. There is a duplication of claim in the region, directly causing the boundary problems between Indonesia and Malaysia. That is because of the same claim on an object that is confusing in setting the boundaries of the two countries, especially in terms of establishment of Indonesia Exclusive Economic Zone or ZEE for both Malaysia and Indonesia. In UNCLOS 1992, also described the procedure of withdrawal of the outer boundary of the continuity of a coastal country like Malaysia. In setting the outer limit of its continentals, the coastal state has two kinds of options, namely 1. Based on the thickness of the sedimentary rocks on the outside of the foot of the continent slope, or 2. By pulling a line that does exceed 60 nautical miles outside of the leg of the continent slope. Referring to this province, if the withdrawal of the outer boundary of the Malaysia continental shelf in the coastal area in Sulawesi Sea is difficult or unusual. In UNCLOS 1982 also described the procedure of withdrawal of the outer boundary of the continuity of a coastal country like Malaysia. In setting the outer limit of its continentals, the coastal state has two kinds of options, namely 1. Based on the thickness of the sedimentary rocks on the outside of the foot of the continent slopes, or 2. By pulling a line that does not exceed 60 nautical miles outside of the leg of the continent slopes. Referring to this province, if the withdrawal of the outer boundary of the Malaysia continental shelf in coastal areas like Sulawesi Sea is difficult or unusual. This was in line with the use of Sipadan Islands and Ligitan Island as the basis for the claim of the border of Malaysia region with Indonesia. Another thing, there was inflict in the post-release of Sipadan and Ligitan Islands in the Exclusive Economic Zone of Indonesia or ZEE in the Sulawesi Sea is the problem of government administration's implementations in the region. There has been no clear boundaries around the Sulawesi Sea, causing Indonesia to only take precautions, patrol activities, and monitoring to the preference and Malaysian vessels that attempt to enter the regions without permissions. Indonesia is supposed to build defense and security around of locations that aims to monitor the presence of vessels, foreign aircraft through the territory of NKRI, especially from the first tier of defense area, namely the sea and the air defense areas located outside ZEE, or in the second tier defense area located within CEE, and the additional zone or at least in the third tier defense area which is located in the area. The sea and the air that lies from the territorial boundary line into. It cannot be done because in addition to the limited facilities that TNI AL has, also because of the same claim.
To continue with what Virgin Jennifer has just explained, and right now I'm going to explain a little bit about how Indonesia's efforts are related to the application of claims in the territory of the exclusive economic zone of Indonesia in the Sea of Sulawesi. So, Indonesia's effort on resolving this problem are 5 types. Like the first one is peaceful legal politics, second one diplomacy, the third one is by ICJ, and the fourth one is by ITLOS, or stands for the International Tribunal for the Law of the Sea, and the last one is the settlement by floating or letting. Settlement with legal political efforts peacefully has the advantage that this effort really puts forward peace. This effort is a solution in accordance with free and active foreign political nature. This peaceful settlement is based on the dignity of Indonesian people who love peace, like in resolving any problems or disputes. It can be politically explained that both countries are dependent on each other, as in the field of labor, economics, or culture. Although politically, Indonesia and Malaysia have a dependence, Indonesia has the obligation to defend legally the dignity of its people when they get interference from other countries. It is based on the foreign political attitude of Indonesia, which is free and active. Indonesia is free to determine its attitude in the international world, including in the defense of its territories harassed by other countries legally governed by international law. Therefore, Indonesia must defend, but still by promoting a peaceful way, because Indonesia itself is a country of peace love. The weakness of this peaceful legal political effort is that the disputed object will have an obstacle that Malaysia remains unwilling to resolve the dispute in a peaceful way. This, of course, will bring out the way of completion that further emphasizes the interests of each, including by way of violence like war. The advantage of the path of diplomacy is that to resolve this problem between Indonesia and Malaysia is that both countries have a very good diplomacy experience, have a smaller risk. Both countries have ethnic similarities, Melayu, good and friendly way, and promote a peaceful way. The experience of both countries in diplomacy with many other countries should be able to assist in resolving the application of claims in the territory of exclusive economic zone of Indonesia in the Sulawesi Sea between Indonesia and Malaysia. Another advantage of settlement of disputes through diplomacy is the lack of risk cause. This means that diplomatic pathways can avoid open conflicts in the form of war. In case of open conflict with a war, the losses incurred will be very large, both material and non-material. Although diplomatic pathways have some good and positive solutions in the resolution of the application of claims in the territory of the exclusive economic zone of Indonesia and Sulawesi Sea, there are negative numbers that make this effort less successful. Some of these things, such as the failure of diplomacy, fought in times, there is no certainty of international law, repeated violations of the agreement, and until now, there is no settlement that can be received by both parties. It is undeniable that negotiations have often been done in Indonesia and Malaysia in relation to the application of claims in the territory of the exclusive economic zone of Indonesia and the Sulawesi Sea. However, to date, it can be said that there is no solution that both parties can accept. The results of the agreement generated through negotiations are also often violated, mainly by Malaysia, for example by entering the Indonesian territorial waters without permission. And the next explanation will be explained by Fitri. Thank you for watching.
I will continue the already explained by Novika. So, another effort called to in the resolving duplication or overlapping of claims in the territory of the exclusive economic zone of Indonesia in the Sulawesi Sea is through the International Court of Justice or ICJ. The advantage of the workaround is international legal certainty. The Indonesia is described in UNCLOS Article 55 when the dispute of Sipadan and Ligitan was forwarded to the International Court of Justice. The condition was very different from the state of duplication overlapping of claims in the territory of the exclusive economic zone of Indonesia in the Sulawesi Sea. ICJ delivers its island to Malaysia on the grounds of offences effectively Malaysia overbuilt island because so far the country has done many things such as building facilities and the infrastructure will at some time. Indonesia has never shown concern about Belt Island. And third, the International Tribunal for the Law of the Sea or ITLOS, the advantages of this line are the international judicial institutions special in the sea, court grant diplomatic immunity, naval competence, members are elected from the people who are reputable for their honesty and integrate and have the ability in the law of the sea. Ability is floating, but floating is there will be no as owner. So the conclusion is problems arising from the loss of the island is Sipadan and Ligitan against the exclusive economic zone. Have four problems. Number one is economic problems, administrative problem, government development, and the management issue, and defense of security issue. And Indonesia efforts to solve overlapping in the Indonesia region of the Sulawesi Sea. Another one is legal politics, peacefully diplomacy in International Court of Justice or ICJ, and International Court of Law of the Sea or ITLOS, and number 5 is floating or land.
Okay guys, okay, maybe that's all this discussion for you, more or less. We apologize. Thanks to friends who watch our video and the lecture. We apologize if there are deficiencies. Okay, thank you guys. See you next time, and